Hello and welcome to a new channel. This is going to be a bit of a journey. I turn 40 next year. Quite a lot's gone on in my life over the last year or so, and I'm making some big changes over the next year, and I thought it'd make sense to document that. It's going to cover quite a few different things. I think predominantly it's going to be around fitness and self-improvement. I'm not going to preach too much, I'm just going to track myself. The idea being, if I film it all and make content around it, it'll keep me honest, it'll keep me on top of it, and also hopefully to try and get some inspiration from you and hopefully inspire some of you as well. I hope to build somewhat of a supportive community through doing this. The first step in that journey is I'm doing a 6-hour off-road trail run tomorrow. Now, I'm sat in front of a squat rack. I'm a reasonably fit person, I go to the gym, but it's fair to say I'd probably have got quite lazy with it and just been going through the motions for a while. I did this, I'm not a runner, I can run, I have run, and I'll talk about some of the events I've done in the past, but I'm definitely not a runner. I'm too heavy for it and I don't do enough of it. So this run tomorrow is going to be quite interesting. Got a bit of a cold going into it. It's been a tough few weeks. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow while I'm doing the run. But I wanted to do a quick introduction. Hopefully this channel is interesting to you. Hopefully it's fairly inspiring. If it isn't, well, sorry, but at least it'll give me something to keep myself busy over the next year before I turn 40. So welcome. I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with you. Please stick with me. So it's the morning of the race. I'm doing what I normally do. Can't say I do it every day, but I do normally do it. And that is an ice bath. I've been doing these for a year and a half, and I reckon it does do something. I'm not quite sure it does as much as people claim, but it has seemed to help me overall. So rather abrupt jump there, and apologies, I'm going to get better at this editing and filming along. But anyway, here's the race start, 9:30 in the morning. Got a real mix of people, local running clubs, crazy people doing some challenges, a visually impaired person there, that was seriously impressive, and then loads of people in between, fancy dressed a lot. Now there is a bit of chaos here because it's lots of people setting off on quite a narrow path. There is a 5k race, a 10k race, a half marathon, a marathon, and the 6 hours all going on at the same time. So you've just got to let the pack thin out a bit. I tried not to worry too much about what was going on at this point. I was just moving. There was a little width restriction up here. But anyway, here he is. He's ready. This is the route then. So we started in the middle, and you effectively go to the east, as you're about to see, turn round, and then to the west, turn round, and that's it. 4 of those gets you the marathon. Quick clarification here, because I realise this might get confusing. The course is split into 2 halves. So just there I've said 1 lap is there and back. Actually, it turned out it isn't. You could just choose to live on one side of the course as many times as you want, or mix and match. So while I'm running, I refer to 1 lap as being 1 out, 1 back on one side of the course. So every time you go back to the finish line. Some people were just choosing to stay on one side of the course. I guess there was some sort of advantage to doing that, but I chose to just do as equal there and backs. I think each side had its merits, each side had its horrible bits. I'm sure they'd worked out there was some more efficient way of living on one side of the course. But anyway, thought I'd just clarify that because when I get into the video it's going to make more sense. So I've never done this before. It's called the Flitch Trail. It's an old disused railway track. It's actually pretty decent terrain. I've got my off-road shoes, but I might actually switch to some more cushioned, just regular runners. We'll see. Do this lap and see how I get on. But so far so good. Just need to go a bit slower probably. It's going to be a long day. So I spoke too soon on the lack of mud. Just ran through a really muddy bit, so keep with these for now. We lost some antlers. So here we go, coming up to the turnaround. First one. So that's one side of the course, not too bad. Little hill over the main road, which I didn't know about. Need to walk that one from now on, I think. And then a bit of mud, but otherwise not too bad. Let's see how we get on. So coming up almost there on the first lap. I think one of the hardest things about these races is having the discipline to not go too fast, because you're always used to starting these things and going as fast as you can, whereas this is like kind of irrelevant how quick I'm running now. It's really about saving yourself for later. So, you know, I've still got 5.5 hours on my feet, so I'm just trying to hold it back. The pack's really thinned out now, which in some ways helps, in other ways gives you more time to think. I'm going to be doing lots of thinking on this run. Right, coming in to the end of lap 1 now. This is an out and back and out and back, so you can go west then east and east then west with the finish in the middle. Quite a few people are going back on the same lap, which I don't really know how to interpret that, but let's see. Anyway, coming into the finish loop for lap 1. Probably ran a bit quick, to be honest, but we shall see. Right, I'm going to ditch this, get on with the race, and you'll see me in a little while. But anyway, that's lap 1 done. Right, 3 laps done, which is, let me check on the watch, just under 10 miles, so 9.8 miles. We're well on track. Done 1 hour 54 minutes so far. So we're on track to do, yeah, we're on track. We can do 9 laps if I can hold my pace. Now, I learned on the last big run I did that you can't really beat sandwiches, and beef cheddar is an absolute winner for me. I find the sweet stuff just gets super sickly after a while and you get stomach ache, but savoury stuff, proper food, seems to be the way forward. So I'll probably just eat this over the next mile and then do one of those each lap. But yeah, right, I'm going to catch up with you in a bit because I'm going to eat. So this is the second lap, or the second of the 2 laps, and it's got a pretty big hill that just goes up over the road, and it surprised me, I'll be honest. It's a lot steeper than I thought it was going to be. So I've been walking, I say that, this is the second time up it. I'm going to walk this, very much about leg preservation, I think. When I did the 24-hour race earlier this summer, there was a big hill in the middle of that, and walking it was the only option really, so lifesaver. So yeah, these guys are running it, fair play to them. I think I'm going to fast walk it. I've got long legs, so I don't slow down that much. But it's stuff like this that I think you only really learn over time and doing a few of these things. And see, look, I'm out of breath, which isn't a good sign 2 hours in to a 6-hour race probably, but you just got to do what you think's right at the right time. But 2 hours in, I feel all right. I genuinely haven't trained for this. I think I'll probably run, I don't know, not much further than I'll have done this morning since the summer and that long run. But anyway, nearly at the top, so I'm going to carry on. So at the start of this I said I'd had a funny year. Well, less me actually, but within the family. So I'm actually running this race for my, excuse me, in memory of my father-in-law, and raising money for Farleigh Hospice. He sadly passed away from mesothelioma, which is asbestos lung cancer. And Farleigh Hospice were incredible, providing everything that he needed to allow him to stay at home all the way until he passed away, which was his choice. And I think without Farleigh Hospice and the equipment and the nursing they provided, it would have been impossible. So that's why I'm raising money. I'll put the link in the video, but you know, no obligation. We've all got our own challenges. The other part to it was earlier this year my dad had a heart attack and ended up having to have a triple heart bypass, which was pretty out of the blue. Big surprise for everyone. But he is on the road to recovery now. But as part of that, I thought I'm going to take my health a bit more seriously. I am fit and active and, you know, don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't do anything too stupid, but, you know, equally I don't have the best diet and my training is pretty sporadic, as this attests to. So I thought I'm going to take this more seriously. And I went and booked a full sort of medical with a GP. And one of the findings from that was that they found like a weird reading on my ECG. So got a bit worried about that, to be totally honest, given what was happening with my dad. This was all at the same time. But long story short, ended up having to have a 24-hour monitor on, saw a cardiologist, and it turns out luckily all is well. So it's just a bit of a scare, but it really did make me think how precious life is. And you know, as I said, I'm coming up, just turned 39, so I'm going to do 40 in less than a year, and I want to see how well-rounded and successful in all of my life I can be this year. You know, being a good dad and good husband, being as fit as I can be, and trying to inspire my kids. Thanks. And hopefully raise some money for various charities. Here's the burnt out car, like classic UK countryside. Don't know what that is. Some long abandoned 4x4. Right, I'm almost at a turnaround point for lap 4, so next time I see you I'll have done a half marathon and I'll be way ahead of schedule, which hopefully is a good thing, but we will see. Yeah. Lap 4. Done. I can't figure out which route I prefer, but that's 2 of each. Halfway if I do the marathon, almost there if I decide to go for one more lap. We'll see. But here we are. That's 4 done. Right, I'm going to get going and see you soon. Right, on the phone, I had a serious wobble there. What am I? 17 miles in. It's been absolutely chucking it down with rain for the last half hour. I finished the 5th lap. Spent about a minute getting some food, topping my water up at the aid station, and went to set off, and my right leg had fully cramped up and I looked like I'm walking like I've been shot, but I'm back moving. I can't say this is much fun at the moment, so I've got poncho on now. It's been absolutely chucking it down for this entire lap, probably last half an hour or so. My kit was all soaked, so I've put the poncho on really just to keep my phone dry and take a bit of the wind off. But I'm almost 3 hours 40 in. I'm about to finish my 6th lap. I've got about a mile left of it, so 8 laps is the marathon. I'm definitely going to get that. The question is, do I go for 9th lap, 3 more, which would get me official ultramarathon, I suppose. But I'll see. That feels like a long way off at the moment, that decision. So we're in the thick of it now. My right leg cramp thing, every time I stop, even for 10-20 seconds, it starts to seize up. So I'm just going to have to keep moving. I'm a chunk into my 7th lap, just trying to figure out what to do. I've definitely got time to get 9 laps. So we'll see if the wheels fall off, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I can do it. At least it stopped raining, which is a result. I'm heading back 1.6 miles or so, which will get me the marathon, but I will still have enough time to do the 9th lap, which takes me to something like 29 and a bit miles, which right now I can't say I'm not interested in doing, but I know I'll be annoyed if I don't. The thing you notice as well now, because there's the 5, the 10, 5k, 10k, half marathon, marathon, and then the 6 hours, and you can really tell the lack of people on the course. I think I've gone a good 10 minutes now without seeing anyone, probably a bit longer actually, whereas earlier it was constant. So it's really easy to, you know, lose yourself. Like I'm staring at the path kind of as far as the eye can see each way. You can't see anyone on it, your body's in pain. Temptation is just to slow down. So I forgot to record, but you can see that across the marathon line in about 5 hours and 8, 9, which I trained a lot for the London Marathon in 2011 and did a 3:53. So given this has been completely off-road, self-supported, in the absolute chucking it down with rain, and I haven't trained, I'm thrilled with that. So I'm doing the 9th lap to take me to maybe about 29 miles, and then I am going to collapse, I suspect. Right, final turnaround done, just under 28 miles. This was difficult. Right, to finish.
No, that was my true downfall.
Yeah, well, there's both of them. But, yeah, fair play to you in doing that, but I'm thinking,
I think
I'm going to end in tears.
Incredible work. Well done. Amazing stuff.
That was horrible.